I did a thing with 48 other magicians worldwide. Who knew? Welcome to the channel. What's up, makers? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Nate Javier, and I'm super stoked you're here hanging out. As you can see, we're getting towards the end of restrictions, and things are going to change again. Environments are going to change, and I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. Actually, I wanted to show you a little clip. It's a clip of my performance of something I did along with 48 other magicians worldwide. We did a charity show over Facebook Live called the 24-Hour Magic Show, where we literally did magic for 24 hours. Well, not me personally. I teamed up with a ton of magicians, and we got together and we did a charity event for rescue.org, which is like a humanitarian act trying to provide joy and comfort for those who don't have it often. And for 24 hours we had different acts come on and do a little show between 8 and 25 minutes, I think. So I'd love to share with you my little portion. After all of this, we're gonna actually link my friend Jonathan Mallow and Tyler Rabbit's channels. On Tyler's channel, you'll probably see all the rest of the magicians. If you'd like, you don't have to watch all 24 hours, but you can pick and choose. Jonathan, he's got tons of virtual shows as well, so check them out. I'll link them down below and at the end of the video. So without further ado, here's my set.
So our next performer is known for his quick wits, sarcastic demeanour, and his storytelling abilities. He has studied, practiced and created magic for over 23 years, travelling and performing at corporate gatherings and exclusive events. Although his mainstay is mentalism, today I'd like to share with you his love for gambling, sleights and the sideshow. Presenting to you, Nate Javier.
And being a part of this wonderful 24-hour stream of magic, and just being a part of something that's a little bit different in this crazy time. And thank you so much for being a part of it, and thank you guys for arranging it, and Dean and Rick for being right there getting us through it all. So without any further delay, I'd love to show you guys something a little bit different. Now comes the most uncomfortable part of the show. A little bit awkward. No, I don't have the lung capacity of other performers. And although this may not look as dangerous as I make it out to be, trust me, it is. You see, over the past, 2 decades, I've already looked into many aspects of magic, things I love and things I don't. And I've always had a soft spot for the sideshow. And there's nothing better than a sword solve. However, in this time, it's kind of hard to sharpen your swords without people staring at you and thinking things are awkward. So instead, we have something even more dangerous, especially if you have a latex allergy, the balloon swallow. So that was the start. Again, my name is Nate Javier. I'm here in sunny Southern California during this crazy time of lockdown, and we're in the backyard, so you're going to hear nature all around us. You know, the local squirrels, the hummingbirds, the random birds, the wild airplanes, whatever else is around. So this is part of our environment here, and super stoked about this. Given the sideshow thing, I've also had an absolute love for gambling slides. That's something that's always been a part of my life. I know growing up, my mom's mom, my grandmother, Grandma Nina, would often play cards with my brother and I after school. And after a little while, I did get a little tired of losing. So I started learning how to shuffle cards myself and how to tip the scales a little bit in my way. And of course, I'm pretty sure Grandma Nina knew I was kind of cheating, but she still let me do it anyway. So instead, I'd love to show you guys something a little bit different, utilizing those skills that we learned so long ago. In fact, let's see if I can find them. That's not what we'll use. Use the jacks. Nobody uses the jacks anymore. That's so unfortunate. It's 2, 3, and 4. All right, so we have 4 jacks. Hold on, excuse me one sec. Sorry, that balloon got caught. So this is a little variation on something I learned a long time ago, involving these 4 cards. A lot of magicians start out learning it with aces, but there's something a little bit different and something that could be said about utilizing the jacks in this case. You can think of it as a group of friends and those who are separated, especially in this time that we're in. People are concerned that social distancing and these terrible things going on right now, it's not a lot of fun. They feel separated, they feel cheated, they feel like each one has to stay away from the other. Meanwhile, one maintains, position. They can continue to communicate, they can continue to be apart. But it's so unfortunate to see that how distancing pulled them apart. However, we're at this point where the good can happen, the bad has happened, and this is an opportunity for redemption. So instead, our 4 jacks are going to see and share what their lives have been like apart from each other. You see, the first one decided to have a few friends over, but it just wasn't the same. Trapped where he was, he found out how terrible it was not to have that connection. The second one was surrounded by family and he enjoyed himself as well, but there's something about the bond of having the same names that really kept them together. I don't know about you guys. I don't know many Nates. I know 3 that are active, but something about all being named Jack is pretty impressive. The third one gets buried away as well, trapped in his own domain, while the fourth one maintains his position, ready for that same day. You see, each of them get locked away within a different grouping. However, you see, the first one learned how to sneak away. The second one followed suit, and he found out later that even though everything was against him, he could continue on. Now the third one was just as impressive and just as difficult, but he got away as well. But where did they go? And what's the point of this story? And I know there's no rhyming or you expected some fun tale, but it's just talking about unity and how all of us, still connected, can maintain that connection as well. Thank you. That was a little bit of a card trick, and people love that. This is one of my favorite sideshow stunts. I learned it close to about 10 years ago, and I've been doing it on and off occasionally since then. And let me just tell you, it's hammer time. Get it? Anyway, here's what we're going with it. We do have a hammer. And 20 penny nails. And for sanitation purposes, we have a Purell wipes, not a sponsor. But at this time, if you are queasy, please stay in the room. It's going to be fine, I promise. I'm a trained idiot. It's going to be perfectly okay. And for those who aren't queasy, feel free to record this, share it with your friends, and tag me in it on Instagram in Javier Magic, and maybe we'll do something a little fun with that. So these are 20 penny nails, solid steel.
You got a hammer and a nail.
Mm-hmm.
What he does. Do not
Absolutely
try this.
disgusting. They are real, and they are sharp. This is one of my favorite sideshow stunts. Besides the fire eating and fire breathing, this is one of the strangest ones for people to see because they don't understand the concept of it. This is called the human block. You see, over the years in the sideshow, people would stick different objects into their face. Some would hang by hooks. Sorry, I'm going to use this little wet nap to kind of clean it off. Got to be sanitary when doing something dangerous, right? In the sideshow, they would take various objects, maybe a 6-inch nail, 7-inch nail, and fully hammer it into their face. Oh, it's clean enough. And so for you guys at home, snap the buzz off. I would love to show you the human block. If there are any kids watching, please do not try this at home. Go to your neighbor's house instead. You would start by examining the nail, making sure it's good. Some would like lubricate and lubricate it, ready to go. Line it up. Once it's there, and you have a nail sticking out of your nose. I know, it's very uncomfortable looking and disgusting. Whew. Probably the grossest part. I wonder if I can capture this on camera. And that's a human blockhead. Oh, it's one of the grosser things. You can see that the nail is fully in my nostril. It's not really going to go anywhere. But for you guys at home, woo! And that's one of my favorite side stunts, the human blockhead. Ah. Thank you. I see some people in the chat saying, wow, that reminds me of my COVID test. Yeah, very much so. Very much so. And I have one more thing to show you guys in my time here. And it's a little bit of a story and nothing too crazy. And as I do this, I'd just like to remind you, thank you so much for joining us on the stream. And if you can, go to 24hourmagic.com, hit the donate tab, and let's donate together for such a great cause and for something so much better than us being humanitarian and being able to give a place for somebody who doesn't have one. I think that's one of the more important things to do, is to share life with those who don't feel like they have one. And I think that everything would be so much better if we all could be that much caring. So my last effect that I'd like to share with you in my time is a little story about how I've perceived magic over the years, how I've seen it and grown to it. As the intro script said, I've been doing magic for about 23 years now. And I know I don't look a day over 16. However, in all the years, I remember growing up seeing different skill levels of magic, things that have blown my mind, and well, you know what, better yet, let me just show you what I've learned, or what I've seen, how I've perceived it. I remember early on there would be a point where the magic would happen straight to me. So the magician would go across and he'd ask me to pick out a card. And for the record, I do have a confidence monitor down here, which is what I can stare at. What I'm gonna do is actually flip it down. So now I can't see what you guys see, and yeah, this will be fun. So the magician would actually have me choose a card and remember it. Make sure you guys can see it at home. The magician would then put it back in, and I remember early on, this was probably like, oh goodness, 5 or 6 years old. So he'd have me choose a card, remember it, take the cards, and just that's the card. Now, I know that wasn't very impressive for you guys. You've seen a ton of magicians so far, and that was probably the least impressive thing. But for like a 5 or 6 year old, that was amazing. And as I got a little bit older, different things started happening. So instead, we would be watching a magic trick happen. The magician would have us shuffle the cards, which is, I mean, shuffle. He would have me choose another card. And for you guys at home, take a good look at that. Hope that's in view. And then he would have me return it anywhere I wanted. Give it a couple of cuts. Maybe a shuffle. Another cut. And the magician would show very clearly, oh, I would have no idea where that is. And he'd be right. Well, that was when he just kind of left the deck there, put his hands together, made weird faces that now, as a performer myself, I understand weird faces make things much more dramatic, so if you'll excuse it. He put his hands around the deck, and out of the center, he would actually pluck my chosen card. I believe that was the card, right? The Four of Hearts. And I was just blown away. And, you know, to this day, I still have no idea how he does it. But going on down the road, continually, you know, shuffling, learning more. Now we're like heading into junior high. And the magician would do something a little bit different. And for the record, these aren't all the same magician. These are different magicians, but we're just going to call them the magician. The magician wouldn't even look. He'd have me shuffle, pick a card. Are you guys okay with that one? We're going to take a good look and gander at that. The magician would put it back in. And then he would let me shuffle. He'd let me shuffle thoroughly. Then he said, give it a cut. So I did. And while in the middle of mixing and distracting, he would turn over half the pack and he said, watch what I would do. Shuffling face up into face down. All throughout the deck. Making this just absolute, terrible, horrible mess. Those with the CDO, this is going to be absolutely disgusting. It's like OCD, but the letters are in order like they should be. But face up into face down, and as a junior hire, I'm like, oh, good golly, Miss Molly, like there's no good that can come from this. Face to back, back to face, back to back, face back. Everything was absolutely mixed up. But then the magician would snap his fingers, spread out the cards, revealing, how about that? All but one facing the same direction. He asked me to dramatically turn it over. And there it was, my chosen card, and in this case, the 8 of diamonds. Now, I felt like that was the peak of it all. How much better could a card trick get? Well, it did. Because then the impossible happened. The magician had me shuffle the cards. He looked away. But because, we're here and this is an awkward situation, this will have to act as a blindfold for now.
Back. No.
I hope these are face up, down. I don't know. The magician would take the cards, shuffle them, mix them up. Well, I'm the magician at the moment, but at this point, the magician would have me spread out the cards, pull out one, show everybody at home. Am I close to it?
We can
That's
see.
probably good, right?
We can see.
We would take the cards, put it back anywhere in the pack. Allowing it to be mixed yet again before he turned back. The magician then looked at me. Said if there could be one thing, and one thing at all, that I would want more than anything else, would be for him to impossibly know what my card was. I shuffled it. He was blindfolded. There was no way on this wild, wild earth that he would know what card I had chosen. And he kind of just blankly stared at me. Got that distanced look in his eyes. And by this time I was pretty cognizant and coherent. And we were probably around 18 or 19. And he looked at me and said, Nate, because that's my name, it's Nate. It's Nate. I want you to picture your card. And so all of you at home watching right now, please picture the card, that last one. And he stared me in the eyes and said, Nate, I believe your card was the 3 of hearts. And my mind was blown. Assuming that was the card. Here, you know what? Let me put the monitor back up. Give me some shout outs in the comments. Let's see. Was it the 3 of hearts? Did I get that one? Wow. Okay. Yay. Amazing. Thank you. You got it. That's good. The one thing I absolutely love about this is as time goes on, Magic will never be changed. The wonderment, the craziness, how everybody feels about it. People will always be amazed by Magic. And just like that, we know something will be always a little bit different. Again, I want to thank you guys for watching. My name's Nate Javier, and if you guys want to check out some more stuff that I do, follow me on Instagram, in Javier Magic. That's NJAVIER Magic. Or me and my buddy run a YouTube channel where we're a couple of idiots that do magic. Check us out at Makers Magic. With that, my time's up. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you for donating for those who have. Let's make the world a better place.